Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the cities of Sigmar, in particular the free city of Misthavn. Now in this video, we're going to go through and talk a little bit about Misthavn's special rule that it gets for this particular subfaction, and then have a look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for this particular subfaction. We'll then look at some other units to expand upon those first couple of initial purchases, and finally finish off the video with a little sample armor list of 1,000 points for you to use, hopefully, and some inspiration for starting your own force of Misthavn for the cities of Sigmar in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And so, to begin, first of all, Shadowed Approach. This is a special rule we get for Misthavn. At the end of your hero phase, you can pick up to 3 different friendly Misthavn units that are more than 12 inch away from all enemy units. Each of these units can make a move of up to d6 inches. Roll separately for each of these units, and if any of those units have mounts or mounts, they can instead move 2d6 instead of just the d6. Units as well can finish this move within 3 inch of an enemy unit. Now, this is a incredibly little techie sort of ability. It's really cool for, say, late game where your units may be strung out on the table, not in the greatest position, give you some extra movement. But also if your opponent plays, sort of strategies at the beginning of the game, like denying you a flank, just deploying on one half of the table, stuff like that can be really fun. Also, if your opponent is trying to castle and stuff like that, getting extra movement to get across the table is always nice. Not only that, but being able to finish within 3 inch actually has some cool abilities for some of the units we'll talk about in this video. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to begin with Misthavn? I think the Sorceress on Black Dragon is a really fun option for the Force. Now, she is obviously on a mount, so she's going to get the full 2d6 movement with a Misthavn ability, 14 wounds and a 5-up save. Not the best save on a monster, but she is a wizard with 1 cast and 1 unbind as well. She's also got a decent range attack at 9 inch with the Noxious Breath, and this will have an attacks characteristic equal to the number of models within range, up to a maximum of 10, which is, a nice 2+ to hit on the base, so 3+ to wound, -1 rend damage 1, a little bit of extra damage there. And she's also got the Bladestorm spell where you roll 9 dice after casting the spell, and for each roll that is less than a unit's save characteristic, they'll suffer a mortal wound. And then she also has a command Underlings where she can use the same command up to twice, though they have to go onto Darkling Coven's units. Speaking of Darkling Coven's units, the first one I'm going to look at is the Bleak Swords. These are a battle line standard unit, and by taking these you can actually unlock other things like your Dark Shards as battle line as well. Now, 1 wound and a 4+ save. They've got Quicksilver Strike, where if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with their Darkling Sword is a 6, they score 2 hits instead of 1, which can be really nice to get some extra attacks out of the unit. Certainly, they do have 2 attacks per model as well. This can, quickly add up, especially in larger units of your Bleak Swords. Looking at where to go next though, Bleak Swords, by being a battle line option, you'll be able to take 1 unit of Dark Shards as battle line for each Bleak Swords unit in your force, and Dark Shards have 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend damage 1 for their ranged attacks, with a 16 inch range. They also get to add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with their repeated crossbows, while they have 10 or more models as well in their unit. Now, the next unit we're going to talk about is the Dark Riders. I think they really do get the light shone on them inside Misthavn, and they've got a special rule called Shadow Raiders, which really does combine nicely. This unit can retreat and still shoot and or charge later in the turn. So this is really cool because what they can do is use a Misthavn ability to move into someone's combat and then retreat out to gain the benefit part of Shadow Raiders, which is they can add 1 to hit rolls made by attacks after they've made a retreat move. This is for both their range and their combat, so getting bonus +1 to hit for free if they move in, retreat out during your movement phase, and then can still move around after that as well. Now, Sow Terror and Confusion is a cool ability on them as well, where they roll a dice each time an enemy unit is issued a command within 12 inches of them, or any friendly units with this ability, and on a 5+, that command is not received, but the command point is still spent. Now, we do have other units available to us that are mounted, and especially other characters that combine with mounted units nicely, and the Free Guild Cavalier Marshal and Free Guild Cavaliers are a nice combo. The Cavalier Marshal has a really cool ability that he can use whenever he has issued himself with the heroic action of Finest Hour. He can actually give some rerolls and extra bonuses to the nearby units of Free Guild Cavaliers when he does so, which I think is just a really nice, flavorful ability to give out. So being able to add 3 to your charge rolls for this unit when he's using Finest Hour is great. Now, he also has Strikes First, and what he's able to do is when he piles in, he can bring a unit of Free Guild Cavaliers along with him immediately after he fights, and they can fight as well. They'll be activating at the time of his fights first, so they'll essentially get to fight first as well. Free Guild Cavaliers themselves are a decent heavy cavalry unit with the ability to really lay in some punches. They get the Devastating Charge ability, which will give them some bonus rend and damage when they charge, taking them up to rend -2 and damage 2 with 3 attacks per model. And the Archnight's Blade is always that same profile, but it has 4 attacks instead of 3. Lastly, we have Endless Spells, and I think there are some really interesting Endless Spells for this force. One of the cool things to do is in your early turns actually use the Misthavn ability to move up your mounted wizards up the table and then cast spells deep in your enemy lines. This does some really great Endless Spells here. Things like the Aether Void Pendulum to set it up across your opponent's entire army is really fun. Being able to throw a Geminids early into your opponent's force or even the Purple Sun are all really solid options to play with. And so here we have our sample army list. Now, we've gone Misthavn and the Mortal Realm of Ulgu. Obviously, that's where Misthavn is. And the grand strategy we've gone here is banners held high. At the end of the game, we need to have more banners and or totems on the battlefield than our opponent. We've got 4 banners in here with the Dark Riders, Cavaliers, Dark Shards and Bleak Swords all having a banner, so hopefully we should be able to get that one. And then we've also got a Triumph for Bloodthirsty, which is reroll charges, which I think with the Misthavn movement and all the things we can do with that is a really nice little Triumph to try and take. Now, the Sorceress is going to be our general, and they've taken the command trait Secretive Warlock, which is +1 to cast and unbind, and the Anklet of Epiphany allows her to add 6-inch to all her spells as well. Now, we've gone for the spell Sap Strength. You could go for Tenebrous Blades and potentially try and spike those Bleak Swords out, but I think Sap Strength for me, -1 to wound, can help keep things like your Sorceress on Black Dragon alive. And then we have Free Guild Cavalier Marshal in there, along with our battle line of Bleak Swords and Dark Shards. And then we've got 5 Dark Riders and 5 Free Guild Cavaliers before the Aether Void Pendulum and a Battle Regiment to wrap our whole force up into a 1-drop. 61 wounds on the table, no allies or reinforced units, 1 drop as mentioned, and 20 points under for a good chance to get that Triumph. If you've got some thoughts on units you'd like to bring into a Misthavn force, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. You can use one of our affiliate links to Gap Games or Element Games if you're in Australia or the United Kingdom, or you can subscribe to our YouTube members or Patreon, or grab some merch from our merch stores on Teespring or Ko-fi. All the best ways to help support the channel. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patrons: Broken Chef, Andy C, Grimskull, Colorblind Magic, Benjamin Swallows, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, JJ Austrian, Cure Dynamic, Andrew Bowen, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lowell and Soren, and to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, the Johnny